Hey, welcome to Web Hard Garage. How y'all doing? I'm not too sure where Brandon is, but I kind of snuck in here. I'm here. But, no, I'm just messing.
Hey, what are you doing in my garage?
At least I ain't going to the refrigerator.
What's up, guys? I know it's been a while since we had Adam in the garage. What, 2 years ago now?
Yeah,
Time,
2 years ago.
Time flies, man.
Pull that down off the bottom.
Got some more upgrades. Well,
some good stuff.
I guess we'll basically just kind of list off what we're doing real quick, and then we'll get more into it later. But so we're relocating the battery to the back using a SSR battery box, a factory battery box.
Relocating box.
And the other thing is going to be the intake's changing. That's why the battery's moving. And then we got another stall to put in here. Some fuel stuff. I don't remember exactly what. That's the box for the battery.
That is a fuel pump by Huron Speed, twin 450s.
Okay. So we gotta do that. We gotta do some wiring, right?
Yep.
Because I think the setup's gonna be, if I recall correctly, I think it's gonna be like once it gets into boost, it's gonna kick in the second pump kind of deal, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's gonna be like a lead lag pump setup. So, but anyway, we're gonna get this thing up in the air, start getting ready for some stuff, and we'll get back with you guys here in a little bit. Wait. Hold the phone up. You did go in the refrigerator.
Sorry.
It's because we boys. That's all right. Battery tray is removed. And we're going to be cutting a 5-inch hole right here. We're going to locate it in a few minutes. We're going to be cutting a hole right here. Kind of like that one right there.
And then we can use the same thing right here, over there.
I'll have to see if I got any left. I think I might, but
okay.
If not, we can get some later or something. But
I got you.
But yeah, I got a hole saw. We'll just locate it exactly where we want it, and then we'll cut that thing right through there like it ain't nothing. Then we can reconfigure the intake to just come right over here instead of all that crazy whatever you call it.
It was ridiculous, and then that bin right here.
I mean, considering what we had to do, it was actually pretty cool, but
yeah,
it wasn't cool for airflow.
Nah,
I don't think.
I know that part right here was restricted. Then look how cleaner it's gonna look.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Pipes is gonna come right over here.
Right, not going all up underneath the upper radiator hose.
Yeah.
Over the heater line.
And then we'll relocate the horns a little bit. I've got mine bolted somewhere over here. I'll have to figure out exactly where I had them, but I've got mine bolted to something on my truck that's holding them like right there.
All right.
So we'll figure that out too. Remove these wires a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we'll bore the hole. All right. So to give you guys an idea of where to put these things, what I like to do is put the edge of the hole saw on this rib right here, and then I center it over the rib. If you can look down, I hope you can see down through there, down in the middle. But I've got it centered over that rib also, so that seems to be a pretty good location. I've been doing that for a while. Here you go. Where's the
drill?
You need to know what load it is.
Look.
Where'd the hole saw go?
I'm right over there.
I'm holding it, ain't I?
Yeah. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna set it out the way.
It's a good call. We'll get that thing. Get it loaded up. 1 speed. See if I can see the. There it goes. All right. Don't break your damn wrist on this thing.
It's got a lot of torque.
Yeah, it does. Where'd that piece of tape come from?
Probably caught it.
very loud thing.
Very loud.
And because of all the little edges and stuff, it's kind of tricky to. Once it starts doing that, you gotta kind of. I could try putting oil on it. I don't know if I've ever done it on this big of a hole, but let's see what it does.
Yeah, help cool some things off.
Let's try that. Once we get a good ring around it, I like to switch to high speed and very, very, very light pressure, but you'll get a cleaner cut. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be moved regardless.
Yeah. So we can finish that cut, but we'll vacuum this up.
Alright.
And yeah, clean, nice clean hole you got there, buddy. Is this the same thing we did on the other side? Did I drill that hole?
Nah, no, you didn't drill that hole.
Okay.
Your buddy Tony done that.
I got you. Cool.
Alright.
What you doing down there?
About to take this bar off that goes underneath the
Oh yeah.
gas tank.
Gotcha. Well, we got this thing, what I call up in the air. Got a pretty good bit of space under there, you know. Can't. Alright, hopefully I got enough. We should have enough stuff. We gotta drop this water pipe out of the exhaust. Take this cross member out. Unbolt the drive shaft at the rear end down there. And then we should be able to unbolt the bell housing and slide the transmission back. All we gotta do is put this stall in here. So, we don't have to go back too far, maybe about, I don't know, 8 inches. Should be more than enough room to slide that thing up in there, I hope.
You gotta drop this whole
Yeah.
cross member for the trans, right?
Yeah, that's a piece of cake though.
So,
We need to do the exhaust first though.
do the exhaust first.
Yeah, so we'll get that poured out. Been a few days since the last update. Adam ended up having to go home, and we were just trying to get stuff done. Neither one of us were feeling good for some reason Sunday, so I'll show you guys a couple of things right quick. I'll turn my light on. So I got the intake redone, as you can see, and extended the wires for the MAP sensor. Got the battery tied in. I'll throw up a couple pictures of what I used. Got the battery cable ran to the back. And obviously got it tied in here. So all this is pretty much like stock. We're just extending the wire. So grounds. We got the other ground going to the body right there. Sprayed a little paint over it after I cleaned it up and you know, got everything nice and tight, so that way it, you know, it wasn't rust or anything like that. And also you can kind of see the intake back there. She's poking through a little bit, so that'll be much better for airflow. I can even throw up a picture right now of like the old setup, probably somehow, but it used to kind of loop around and go all the way down to the other side and go down, and it just wasn't ideal. So this is the battery box. This is where we were able to put it. I've got it bolted through the metal flange. I know on the SSR the stock location is kind of somewhere over there, but we've got some stuff in the way, so we were able to find this nice spot, you know, to mount it. And got the two grounds. So we got our main ground coming over to the frame. Where's it at? Right there. And of course that's all sanded down nice and clean. Everything's good there, but that's our frame. And then I hit the body up there. So that's the body, right? And got that all sanded down and nice and clean too. And before I'm done, I'm going to spray some protected sealant, like a film stuff on there. Then of course the box closes up inside. I can't remember if I took a picture. If I did, you will see it now. But I've got a breaker in line with this cable, and you know, and then of course the battery terminals are right here in the box. Everything's closed up, so it's protected. So just so everybody knows, the power cable is protected by a breaker right there. So, and I routed it with the stock wiring harness, as you can see. So none of these are moving parts. Everything follows the body around and is routed exactly with the stock harness, and just follows its way up to the front. So everything's hooked up now, as you can see. When we turn the key on, you know, we've got full power. I've turned the engine over just to test it. Everything works. We haven't ran it yet because the fuel system's still not quite done. So I'll show you guys that real quick. This is a Huron Speed. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Huron or Huron. It's that right there. This is a full fuel setup that they sell for the Trailblazer. And I got everything put together. I haven't had to do much to this part really, except install the fuel sender and put the hydromat filter socks on there. And of course I had to wire in the sensor. I had the wires hanging out for that. And then this comes through this aluminum bulkhead that comes out on the top for a connector that it included. I will point out one thing. There's like a little tab. So if you want to put the sending unit on there, you have to bend that tab down, as you can see right there, to be able to get it in. And it snaps in super tight. So I didn't really see the need of fighting with it to straighten it back out. It looks kind of simple, but there's not really a good way to squeeze that back in there. So, but I can't move it. I could barely get it to pop loose. So it's definitely not going anywhere. But as you can see, this is a pretty nice setup. Got a billet hat. Got our AN lines. It's an 8 AN feed, 6 AN return. So that looks like a pretty nice setup. It's going to be the first one I've used, so we'll see how it goes. I haven't dropped it in the tank yet, so we'll see how the fitment is. I'm guessing because it's billet, it's going to be pretty tight to get these lock rings on. One thing I always do on these fuel pump, I guess you could call it a nut or a retainer, but when you put these things in, it twists into these little things right here, right? So when you twist it in, it locks. And you can see where those parts, those little raised areas snap under those crimps in there. So I found that it is really easy to take a grinder blade, and this edge on every one of these, just sharpen it in that downward angle, and it'll make it a lot easier to start it up under that flange. It really only takes probably about a minute to just kind of touch those up a little bit, just put a little bit of an edge on them, and it makes it a lot easier getting that thing together. Building a custom harness for this truck. The setup with the dual pumps, what's going to happen is there's one fuel pump which is the lead pump. You got a lead and a lag pump on this setup. So the lead pump is going to be the primary, and anytime you're driving the truck or anything, that's the one that's going to run on the stock signal from the ECU. Then we've got a second one that's on a Hobbs switch. So anytime this thing sees 4 psi boost, it's going to turn on the second pump and send that fuel. And so I've been building this custom harness. Got a couple of relays, some fuse holders. These are the outputs that are going to go down to the tank. I started working on this plug. I got to finish it up under the truck, but these are the grounds for the pump. That's going to ground to the frame, and those are pinned in already. So I just got the sensors, or the sensor wires, and the 2 power feeds for the pumps. So once I pin those in, this brown wire is going to be the factory fuel signal going up to the relays to run the primary pump, and then the secondary pump I've got wired to a ground signal off of that pop switch over there, and it's going to kick in the second relay. So everything's looking pretty nice so far. Took a little while to put this together. So anyway, that's probably the next step. I'm gonna go ahead and get this put in the tank, get this ready, and then I'm gonna start running the wiring harness and hooking everything up. So it won't be too much longer. This thing's gonna be going back in the truck, so pretty happy about that. you can see so far, we got the fuel system tied up, got the tank put back in. I had to relocate the transmission cooler to leave room for the intake, and got the new oxygen sensor wideband put in. The battery relocation is done. As you can see, it starts and runs. Fuel system works good. I tested both pumps, and so anyway, that's all looking good. So next, I've got to actually do an oil pan baffle on that Trailblazer. It says they actually just came down from Chicago, so gonna knock that out hopefully tomorrow, as long as everything comes off okay. And then once that one's knocked out, gotta get this one back in and do a couple more little things to button it up. Put triple gauge pod in here and move some gauges around and stuff. Other than that, she's pretty wrapped up, so pretty happy about that. We'll get the gauges done. I'll show you guys that when I get done with it. I got the new radiator neck welded on. The old one, I guess I'll show you that. That was part of this to-do list. So the old one used a stock cap, and it was very poorly done. I don't know if you'll be able to see that on camera, but basically where the adapter, I guess you'll call it, or flange, welds onto the pipe, it's exactly, that seam right there is exactly where the O-ring is. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but the O-ring is kind of caught underneath that lip. Maybe you can see it right there. I'm trying to get some kind of good angle, but the O-ring catches on the bottom of that lip, and you pretty much can't get it out. And also it leaks. It doesn't hold pressure because it's not a smooth surface for the O-ring to fit on. So as you can see, any of that gap right there is keeping the O-ring from sealing. Otherwise it would just be, you wouldn't see that reflection back there if it was sealed up. So basically cut that dude off. Got the new Mishimoto flange and welded it onto a new piece of pipe. This got kind of dirty, but anyway, so that's done. Already pressure tested it. Everything looks good. Got this thing running. I can't remember what my last update was, but everything as far as the fuel system and intake and all that stuff's done. I'm about to work on the gauges. We got a triple gauge pod going in right here, and we're gonna move that wideband up here, and there's another gauge. What is it, an Air Force gauge? We're gonna put in there.
Alright, just hold the camera, because you know the last incident with me holding the camera, I was on
One
myself.
of the last incidents. pretty wrapped up.
Man, this thing looks 3 times better in person. Nice. Dude, you was like the magician of fabricating. You know that? I just want to let you know that.
I even polished the radiator cap.
Top of the radiator too. You know, you couldn't even see where it said cold case right here.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it came from the factory.
Yeah.
It was dingy. Just, you couldn't see shit. You couldn't read anything.
Yeah.
Now you got it all polished like showroom floor.
Yep.
And that's how it's supposed to be. Now, tell me, speaking of cold case, tell me, how did you fix this neck to where you, go ahead.
I cut the old one off, which I actually already talked about this in the video, but I cut the old one off, and I couldn't really like grind all the welds and stuff off of there without really screwing up the radiator, so I just cut the neck off right above the welds. That's how come the welds are kind of thick and goofy looking, but that was better than trying to grind it all off, and because aluminum you don't really grind aluminum, it doesn't really work that well. So but anyway, so I just add another piece of 1 1/4 aluminum tubing, and basically I just welded it onto the new neck, cut it the same exact length as this one, or the old one, and then welded it onto the radiator. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Look how easy it comes off.
Well, you gotta
press down just a way.
Oh yeah, you got one side popped off. There you go.
Okay.
That was still easier.
I ain't put enough ass on it.
No, that was still easier than the other one.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, it just, you know, it's just a classic twist on.
And that's it.
Yeah, instead of that stupid screw on thing, which I already explained in the video why the O-ring is like getting caught in that lip, because
Right.
it's just on. There's your fuses for your fuel pumps right there. So your primary and your secondary, and then they're on that auxiliary post, you know, that's labeled trailer.
Okay.
And I got a 60 amp fuse in there. Those are two 35s. So it kind of protects it in two different ways. Like if the wiring somehow gets hit or something like that, it'll blow the fuses, like maybe even the big fuse.
Okay.
But if you have an issue with like one of the fuel pumps, it'll just blow the small fuse. That way you might still use the other fuel pump or whatever.
So I still can get home instead of being like long.
Yeah, it's just double protecting.
Got you. That's a smart idea, bro. I love that. I see the Hobbs switch back there.
Yeah. Yeah, your relays and stuff are right back there too.
Right underneath it.
And then I fixed the line lock also. The relay, I think, had gotten power steering fluid in it from the last fiasco. And that's how come we had to disconnect it. Then there's your gauges right there. Let me turn my light on just in case. Got the gauges put in.
Ooh.
Came out pretty nice. Put your dash plug back in. All that good stuff.
Yeah, the dash plug that I hid for myself. Oh man. She is ready, bro. You got it right.
You want to do a cold start?
Yes.
Hit it.
You could hear that at first.
You can hear it now. I don't know if it'll come out on camera, but you can definitely hear it. And that's not even under load. Like once you're driving, you'll really hear it.
Man.
I guess that's about it. We're gonna get it loaded up.
Okay.
And then what? In 4 days you'll be in LS Fest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I could go, but it's just not working out this year. It's one of them things. 2 years in a row, man.
It's gonna be a little boring without Brandon with me. But I'm gonna have the camera working so he can see what's going on, see what the crowd looks like. And I'll make sure I do a live video for you.
There you go. Oh, you're still taking this to the dyno too, right?
Yeah, so as soon as I get home today, dropping it off at the dyno shop, and then I think tomorrow he's gonna get on it.
Cool.
We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, so even though I'm gonna say peace out, we're done, I'm probably gonna wait and add the dyno clips on the end of this video. So I hope you guys enjoy that, and we'll see you next time.
This time it's gonna have the numbers, so stay tuned.
Oh yeah, for the whiners.
Yeah.
You put a dyno video, no numbers. Some people want to keep their stuff private, man. But you ain't scared now?
Nah, not scared.
I mean, you weren't scared before, but
A little.
anyway, it's coming. We'll see y'all later. What was it? 579?
Oh, my voice.